Stranger Things has now ended, and its final season was full of twists and turns, with some episodes stronger than others. Created by the Duffer Brothers, Stranger Things quickly climbed Netflix's charts and now ranks among the best TV shows of all time, as well as one of the best sci-fi TV shows. For its final season, Stranger Things saw Hawkins under quarantine, with the military setting up a base camp in Hawkins and the Upside Down, while Dr. K, Linda Hamilton, tried to revive Dr. Brenner's experiments. Meanwhile, Eleven, Millie Bobby Brown, and the rest of the Hawkins crew came up with a plan to kill Vecna and destroy the Upside Down. At the end of Stranger Things, Eleven fulfilled Kali's plan and sacrificed herself when the Upside Down was destroyed, this to ensure that the experiments stop. Stranger Things Season 5 was full of big reveals and twists, but it also had some slower and even lazy episodes. 8. Chapter 5. Shock Jock. Shock Jock is the first episode of Season 5's Volume 2, and it wasn't the exciting return it should have been, though, if we remember it's actually the 5th episode, it gets a pass in that regard. Shock Jock sees the children awakening in Vecna's mind, with Max and Holly being caught by Vecna. Meanwhile, in Hawkins, Will's group reanimate a Demogorgon so Will can get into Vecna's mind again. In the Upside Down, Kali reveals that her blood is being used to create other superpowered children, while Dustin realizes that what they knew about the Upside Down was wrong. Shock Jock is the slowest, borderline laziest episode of Stranger Things Season 5, and it finds its rhythm in its last third. The episode is more about reminding the audience where everyone is after the previous episode and setting up the big events in the subsequent episodes. 7. Chapter 1. The Crawl. The Crawl is Season 5's first episode, so it gives quick context to the audience as 18 months have passed since Season 4's ending. The Hawkins party sets into motion another plan, or crawl, to go into the Upside Down and look for Vecna. The most important thing in this episode is Vecna's preparation to kidnap Holly Wheeler. While it has some good elements, such as Dustin's grief and Vecna showing up in an unexpected way to Holly, the crawl leaves more questions than answers, mostly due to the time jump. The crawl isn't the exciting return to Hawkins that most expected, and things like the Upside Down bleeding into the real world at the end of Season 4 got the most underwhelming explanation possible. 6. Chapter 7. The Bridge. The Bridge is the episode that sees Max's long-awaited return to her body, while Holly falls into the Upside Down, only to be pulled back into the abyss by Vecna. In Hawkins, Mr. Clark helps Erica and Murray locate Dustin in the Upside Down with a makeshift experiment. Once the whole group is back together, they come up with the final plan to kill Vecna and destroy the Upside Down, aka the Bridge. The Bridge is more like a regroup episode as they all reunite at the radio station and welcome new allies, Vicky and Mr. Clark. So it's mostly uneventful, except for Max's return and the final plan. What makes this episode stand out, and which has been heavily criticized despite being the true strength of the episode, is Will's coming out speech. Ultimately, the main point of Stranger Things Season 5 is confronting one's fears and not letting them control you, and that's exactly what Will does through his speech. 5. Chapter 2. The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler has a very strong start as it sees the Demogorgon attacking the Wheelers to get to Holly, with Karen Wheeler having her big moment as she literally fights the Demogorgon to save Holly. Meanwhile, the most relevant thing that happens is Will's understanding of his link to Vecna. Those moments, along with the realization that Holly's imaginary friend is actually Vecna, are the most important and exciting moments in this episode, while parts like Eleven and Hopper in the Upside Down, and Jonathan and Steve arguing about Nancy, make this episode forgettable and feel like it has too much filler. 4. Chapter 3. The Turnbow Trap. The Turnbow Trap is the episode where, thanks to Will, the Hawkins team deduces that Vecna's next target is Derek Turnbow, so they come up with an elaborate but fascinating trap. Inside Vecna's mind, Holly ventures into the woods and finds Max, confirming a popular fan theory about Max's fate and whereabouts. Of course, the best thing about this episode is the whole preparation to catch the Demogorgon and save Derek, which includes drugging him and his family and setting up various traps around his house. It sees the entire Hawkins team working together, and the reveal of Max in Vecna's mind at the end was a perfect hook. 3. Chapter 6. Escape from Camazotz. As the title says, Escape from Camazotz is the episode that sees the long-awaited escape of Max from Vecna's mind, and gives some brief hope for Holly's escape too. This is also the episode where Dustin tries and fails to warn Nancy and Jonathan about the wormhole, and so the latter two find themselves at great risk. With Eleven, Hopper, and Kali back in Hawkins, Eleven brings Will back from Vecna's mind, but it's too late, as Vecna has already seen exactly where Max's body is. While Vecna sends Demodogs to the hospital to kill Max, Max and Holly find a way out of Vecna's mind, with portals leading back to their bodies opening up for them. The one weakness of this episode is Max's long speech to Holly right when her portal opens, though this is very effective in terms of building tension and anticipation. The sequence at the hospital is also action-filled, and gives Karen Wheeler one more heroic and surprising moment. 2. Chapter 8, The Right Side Up. The Right Side Up is the final episode of Stranger Things, and as divisive as it has turned out to be, it's mostly a great episode. In a bit over 2 hours, The Right Side Up sees the entire team and its allies setting their final plan into motion, though not without a couple of obstacles. These include Callie's death, Steve's almost falling to his death, and Vecna messing with Hopper's mind. In the end, the plan turns out to be successful, with Vecna dying, and Joyce decapitating him in one of the show's most satisfying moments, and the Upside Down being destroyed. However, the latter also included Eleven's death. The final hour of Stranger Things sees the characters 18 months later, reuniting for the teens' high school graduation, and Mike sharing his belief that Eleven faked her death. Overall, it's an exciting episode with action, drama, and tension in its first half, and closure in its second half, and while it does offer some needed answers, it also leaves some questions. 1. Chapter 4, Sorcerer. Sorcerer is the final episode of Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. In it, the Hawkins group does its best to save Derek and the other kids, but the Demogorgons end up taking the kids away. However, as 3 Demogorgons prepare to kill Mike, Lucas, and Robin, Will unleashes his powers and kills them. Meanwhile, Hopper and Eleven find Callie in the Upside Down, and Holly learns about Max's efforts to escape. Sorcerer has the basis for the biggest moments and reveals in Season 5, and Will's understanding of the power he has through his connection with Vecna is this episode's most exciting moment and a key reveal for the rest of the season. Will had been treated as a victim for the majority of the season, so seeing him confronting his fears to save his friends and family gives him his agency back. Stranger Things Season 5 has a bit of